That's right, the Juice Man is back. Season 2, Episode 38. Pull up a seat at the gaming round table. Grab a cold one if you're able. Remember, I am the gamer telling you the way it is. Today's episode is simply titled, We Like What We Like. And what that basically entails to me, I'm going to have to turn the volume down just a hair in case it is overpowering. I know how that's been a problem sometimes when you stream. So we're hoping that it won't be too bad. I'm playing a little ESO Online, Elder Scrolls Online. This is the standard version. I don't have any deluxe versions and all that other stuff that you have. I'm currently playing a mage. I'd like to talk a little bit about this game here just for a few minutes. One of the things that I don't understand, I've played it for a while, played it last year, played it now. You know, when you play a mage, for example, or a sorcerer, that you get and you play through the tutorial, the first thing they give you is this two-handed sword. Now, I'm not going to devote to two-handed swords. It's a fighter's weapon. You know, I'm not trying to make a fighter mage either. I'd like to use a staff, but they don't really make it really readily available to begin with, so it takes a little bit before you actually find one, and then you can just switch over. That's just where, like, if you want to play an archer, again, it's the same thing. You can start at a certain town and maybe steal a bow, but as far as, like, if you're playing a fighter, you're good to go at the beginning. So I don't know why they did it that way, but anyway, I digress. We like what we like, and one of the things that I want to talk about is some recent purchases that I had made. A couple weeks ago, I had seemingly spent some money on some video games. Absolutely, I bought this. I bought Ark Survival Evolved. I bought God, I don't know. It was like 3 or 4 here and there. And one of the things that I want to talk about was Ark Evolved. Now, Ark Evolved is a survival game. I have not figured out. It came out last year on PS4. I can't figure out. The YouTube reviews either refer to it continuously as either an alpha or a beta. I'm not sure which one it's supposed to be or why it's, because no one, or is it the full-on game? I don't know. The reviews have been like saying it's an alpha. Some people say it's a beta. Some people say I've never been able to quite figure out why there's this thing where no one can. No, I can't even find out if it is it the full game or not. And that's the whole problem. But it's a survival game, but it's also an open world game and an adventure game. One of the things the developers of the game said is, if you didn't want to necessarily get into the whole build all this stuff and craft and all this stuff, you could just simply explore and get by on the bare essentials. And that's bullshit, because you can't do that in that game. You have to build stuff. You have to craft. You have to do stuff to survive. It's absolutely, utterly important that you do that. And it's funny that they said that you don't, but you do. A friend of mine, Posthuman Guy, what's up, buddy? He said, if I'm into survival type games, he said it's pretty cool, it's fun. I gave it a chance. Graphically, it was nice. I liked aspects of the game, but then while I was playing it, I realized, okay, so I built this thatch hut, and then I built I got some campfires and some torches and a spear, and I built a bed, and I did all the stuff that you're supposed to do. At the beginning, so I had the spear. And once I got to that point, and everything you do gains you like Ingram points to level up. I started realizing, like, okay, well, now I'm at this point where I'm like, okay, all the really cool stuff is going to be a minute before I can even think about like building anything else, and I kept thinking, and I kind of wanted to explore a little bit, so I went like 200 yards in another direction, and all of a sudden my character's like, oh, you're super, super hot, and I'm like, well, why? I didn't do anything. I just walked, and I'm actually still, generally speaking, close to my camp, okay, whatever, and then I got in the water, cooled off, and then got back out, and I was fine, and then it went back to hot again. I don't know if it's just different zones in the map, or maybe it had something to do with that. What I do know, and this is kind of like what I realized while I was playing it, and I was telling myself, well, I should be liking this, and part of me dug a little bit of it, but I thought, I see all these videos and people are got these mounts and they're flying in the air or they're scuba diving and they're, and they spend all this time on the game. And I kept saying, I do like adventure games. I like open world stuff, but this whole survival genre stuff, it's just not for me. I get tired of the whole, your character, you'll eat for a little bit and 2-3 minutes and the game passes and next thing you know, you're seeing your food meter go down or your water meter go down. And I just feel like, well, okay, so, why is it that your character gets hungry and thirsty within a span of like 5 or 10 minutes? I think it should be way less. And granted, yes, I know in Ark you can set up a solo play and make it to where your guy's never hungry and you could set all the parameters and it's not, you can just do it if you want to do it that way. I didn't want to do that because I'm like, that kind of robs from what the game is supposed to be about in the first place. Nevertheless, I still felt very much like, as I was playing it and I was thinking, okay, I've got all this stuff, but I'm like, it's gonna be a crazy amount of time before I get anything really cool. Taming creatures was kind of hit or miss and tricky at best, and that was one of the things I kind of felt like, well, I just don't think I like this game. I just don't think I'm going to be able to play this game. I just don't. So, I didn't delete it or nothing. I just took a couple days, then came back to it, and again, I felt the same way. And then I started thinking about this whole, hey, I like what I like. We gamers like what we like. And anytime that I seem to go outside of my what I call comfort zone in gaming, I end up having buyer's remorse. So I spent $54 in a game. I could never get the money back, and I don't really want to play it. I just don't. So that was just kind of blue. However, on the flip side of that, I also bought Nier Automata. And Nier Automata, being an open world roleplay game, extreme action game, elements like with Bayonetta style kind of fighting, which I love those type of games, and I love open world roleplay games, and I love exploration, and I like simple crafting, but like with some complexity to it, and different builds and whatnot. And like Nier, has most of the genres kind of, and I talked about this in a Nier Automata video, how all these genres were put together and done really well. Of course, it's like one of my favorite games. So again, because I decided to buy it because I thought that I would like that game. I know what I like, and I think gamers out there have a tendency sometimes to go outside the box and purchase stuff that they may not necessarily want to play or even like. And I think personally, when you do that, I think you set yourself up, like I said, for buyer's remorse. And I kind of wish, I decided after the whole Ark thing, and I was like, I'm going to write down exactly what genres I like. Like, what games do I actually like? Like, what is it that I enjoy playing? And I was thinking, RPGs, especially, in particular, open world. Don't like turn-based anything at all. Turn-based games, like I own Divinity Original Sin, and why I think it's a good game aesthetically speaking and graphically, and and things about it. I don't really particularly don't like playing the game because the combat is turn-based. I had bought last year. I had bought Wasteland because I'd heard so much good about it, and then knew it was turn-based. And after I bought it, I kind of felt like, why am I buying this game? Because I know I won't play it, and I'd play it for a little bit, and then I wouldn't play it, and it just became that kind of thing for me. And I kind of started realizing I just should never buy games, that I don't like. And I think gamers out there should be in the same boat. Like they just don't go outside your box, stay in your comfort zone. And I just died. That kind of sucks, but anyway, I'm gonna revive here because I can. And it's one of those things that, to me, I'm kind of like, when I think about it in the grand scheme of things, anytime I've ever bought a game that I wouldn't necessarily would normally not buy or even care for, I always end up, like I said, having those buyer remorse is sucks because I don't want to do that. I think about many of the games and then I waste my money. I knew I would really, really enjoy Evolve because I really dig asymmetrical shooters. I just love those. Those are fun. I absolutely loved Brink. I thought Brink was cool, and I really enjoyed. I really just enjoyed that game. I loved Enemy Territory Quake Wars, and I really dug that. Of course, anything like Mass Effect, a sci-fi role-play game, love that stuff. Love the Technomancer because it's very much like Mass Effect with some elements of The Witcher involved. I love your Dark Souls style games. So I love Bloodborne, Lords of the Fallen, Dark Souls 1. 2 is okay. Haven't played 3 yet. Would like to get it though. And that's kind of where I'm at with it. I started realizing there's only certain genres I like. I knew I would love No Man's Sky, regardless of the updates, because I love that idea of just exploration and in space and all that stuff, because that speaks to the Star Trek guy in me and the Star Wars guy in me. Those are the genres I like. I like Destiny because Destiny is a hub-based pseudo open world shooter, and I like first-person shooters, but I don't like all first-person shooters, because they're not created equally. I think COD is overrated. I like Battlefield, but Battlefield's overrated. And I think there are better shooters out there. I gravitate to more sci-fi kind of shooters. You know what I mean? And I think that's one of those things that if you're a gamer, we like what we like. And I realize now that I'm not going to do that no more. I'm not going to buy games anymore that I know that goes outside of that genre box that I know I'm going to enjoy. I love Monster Hunter style games. That's why I love Toukiden Kiwami, Toukiden 2. I love God Eater Resurrection, God Eater Rage Burst. I love those type of games because there's something about the idea of going out and hunting creatures and getting the parts and then building up better weapons. There's something really engrossing about that to me. I like that aspect. I love your Dynasty Warriors type games. I love those one against a million kind of games like that. And because Dynasty Warriors does have roleplay elements and other interesting, so it's almost a hack and slash action RPG now, hybrid, and it has been for a little while, as a matter of fact. And now with the new one coming out, it's going to be open world. That's like crazy. So you're adding something that I like. So I think as gamers, we need to, it's great if someone recommends a game to you. It's great if someone says, hey, you should try out this game. But if it's really a genre that you really don't really like, hey, I know everybody's kind of playing this game and everybody's talking about it, but if that's not something that you would normally play, I would suggest just pass on it, because you're going to have buyer's remorse. Spend your hard-earned dollars on games that you like, that you're going to play. And anytime that I've ever was picky like that and picked the games that I really enjoyed playing, every time I was like, no matter what I decided to play that day, out of the 40, 50 games I own, they're always going to be something that I'm going to enjoy instead of not. So I did spend some money a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, and I bought a lot of games, and I just was like, no. Another genre I love is high-speed racing games. I bought Moto or GP, whatever, Renegade or whatever, and it's kind of a pseudo-futuristic, made by the people who made Hydro Thunder, and it's just a blast of a game to play. There's an F-Zero-like style game coming out called Red something or other coming out on the PlayStation 4, and I saw some videos on it, and it just looks like I'm totally already got $5 down on it, because I love high-speed futuristic racers and finally get to see that. There's even a Wipeout collection coming out I'll probably dive into. I also have Sniper Ghost Warrior 3 on on pre-order as well. I like the fact that it's gone open world. It has elements that's like Far Cry. Far Cry is one of my favorite open world first-person shooters. I love 3. 4 was awesome. Plan on getting Primal. Primal is the what I should have bought instead of Ark Survival Evolved. I should have bought Primal, and I kind of regret the fact that I didn't. But I'll be getting that real soon because I feel like that has elements of Ark Survival Evolved without having to go through all the other stuff to get the cool elements. So anyway, in closing, gamers, the Juice Man recommends that you stick with what you know and what you like and what you know you're going to play, and don't end up with buyer's remorse. I don't care if people are telling you or reviews say this game is fantastic. If it's just not a genre that you like, do yourself a favor, man. Save your money for something that you know you're going to play and you know you're going to enjoy. This has been episode 38 of the Gaming Roundtable. Thank you for tuning in. I didn't put the comments thing up there on this video, mainly because I wanted to talk and didn't want to get distracted too much. That's why I didn't do a whole lot you see on ESO. And thank you for joining me. Please subscribe to my channel. Hit that like button. Tell your friends about me. Enjoy your cold mug of beer. Thanks for joining me at the Gaming Roundtable. And remember, gamers, I am the gamer telling you the way it is. This has been episode 38. Signing off now, I am the Juice Man. And as always, gamers, good gaming.